Welcome back to Sailing the Grand Line. On the previous one, we talked about the fan theories bubbling around One Piece live action season 2. But we are far from finishing the discussion, and now we are back with part 2 as you guys asked us. So, without any further ado, let's get started. Before that, please be cautious that most of the things here are predicted by the people only following the live action series. Buggy the Clown will temporarily join the Straw Hat Pirates. One community member proposed a theory that, at first, made me do a double take. Buggy the Clown might temporarily join the Straw Hat crew in Season 2. When I asked them to elaborate, they explained that despite Buggy's chaotic nature and his thirst for revenge at the end of Season 1, he's ultimately a comical and surprisingly resourceful character. The theorist believes that Buggy and Luffy will be forced to team up in the face of a much larger, looming threat, one that puts both their lives at risk. In their view, Buggy won't join out of friendship or loyalty, but rather out of necessity. His survival will depend on working with the very people he previously sought to defeat. And just as importantly, the Straw Hat Pirates may also find themselves needing Buggy's unique abilities in this dire situation. But this alliance, they emphasized, would be strictly temporary. Buggy is too unpredictable and self-serving to become a permanent member of Luffy's crew. Still, the idea of an uneasy truce between the two sides is both hilarious and intriguing, and fits well with Buggy's unpredictable role in the story so far. Zoro is slowly dying and will die by the end of Season 2. Another theory submitted by a passionate fan took a much more emotional route. They argued that Roronoa Zoro is dying, and has been ever since his brutal battle with Mihawk in Season 1. According to them, Zoro's injuries were so severe that it's impossible he's fully recovered. They believe he's been silently suffering, pushing through immense pain to remain by Luffy's side. They imagine that his story arc in Season 2 will be one of quiet perseverance, a warrior who knows his time is limited but refuses to fall until his captain's mission is complete. This fan speculates that Zoro's death could be the emotional climax of Season 2, providing a tragic but powerful moment that adds gravity to the Straw Hat journey. While longtime fans of the anime and manga might know that Zoro's journey continues far beyond these early arcs, it's fascinating to see how impactful his portrayal in the live-action series has been. For this viewer, Zoro's stoicism and the severity of his injuries were enough to build a theory grounded in sacrifice and sorrow. The Straw Hats are being followed by a secret agent. Then there's the more mysterious theory that someone is secretly following the Straw Hat Pirates, and we've already seen them without realizing it. A viewer shared their belief that Season 1 suddenly introduced a secret agent character, someone planted to monitor or perhaps manipulate the Straw Hats from the shadows. According to them, the signs are already there, hidden in plain sight, but we just didn't notice. They plan to rewatch the entire season frame by frame to find the clues they believe are hidden in background scenes or small character interactions. It's a classic example of how One Piece invites viewers to become detectives. And while this particular theory is still light on concrete details, it's rooted in the very real possibility that Season 2 will pull back the curtain on larger forces at play in the world, especially with the introduction of characters like Smoker, Baroque Works, or even the world government. Is Luffy a failed government weapon? The One Piece community never fails to amaze when it comes to fan theories. And today's theory is one of the most mind-blowing, out-of-the-box ideas we've heard yet. It comes from a community member who's quickly becoming known for their bold, imaginative takes on the One Piece world. This time, they've taken things to a whole new level with a theory that's as wild as it is intriguing. Luffy is not fully human. He's a failed world government weapon. Yes, you read that right. According to this fan, Monkey D. Luffy isn't just a pirate with a big dream and a rubbery body. He's the unintended byproduct of a secret government experiment designed to create the ultimate devil fruit host. Mihawk is secretly blind and uses observation haki to see. One user swears that Dracule Mihawk is actually blind, but his observation haki is so strong no one has ever noticed. Why else would he wear those giant yellow eyes in the anime? They said. That's not style, it's a mask. Those are contact lenses to hide the truth. They believe Mihawk lost his sight in a massive battle with Shanks years ago, and since then, he's mastered the ability to see using only his haki. That would explain how he can slice ships from miles away without missing, and why he always looks so calm. he isn't looking, he's sensing. Also, the theorist says Mihawk's blade doesn't even need to cut physically. He cuts your will before he cuts your body. Nami is a former celestial dragon who lost her memories. One fan submitted a theory that Nami isn't just a skilled navigator, she's actually a fallen celestial dragon, one who lost her memory as a child during a pirate raid. Think about it, they said. She's obsessed with money and treasures, but not in a greedy way. It's like she's trying to recreate something she used to have, like wealth was normal to her. That kind of attitude doesn't come from poverty, it comes from losing privilege. They believe Nami was taken as a baby from Marijoa during a rebellious event covered up by the world government. Her obsession with mapping the world, not a dream, a buried royal instinct. Deep inside, she might still hold knowledge of the Red Line, the world map, and even the Void Century. That's why her maps are so important. She might be unconsciously redrawing the truth the celestial dragons have been hiding. Usopp is already dead and is just a spirit only Luffy can see. This next one is weird, but spooky good. A viewer believes Usopp died before ever meeting Luffy, and the version we see in the series is his ghost. What if Luffy's devil fruit powers don't just make his body rubber, they ask, but actually give him a weird spiritual sensitivity too? They pointed out how nobody ever really interacts with Usopp much except Luffy, and how Usopp always talks about death, ghosts, and spirits. They believe that Usopp's soul is tied to the going merry, and that's why he gets emotional around it. The theory ends with this mic drop. Usopp never lies, because every lie is just his ghost remembering fragments of his past life. The giants, the island, being a hero, it's all real, just not in this life. The core of the theory. The theory starts with the idea that Luffy was artificially engineered, or at least altered, by the world government as part of a covert project. The goal? To build a body capable of withstanding and synchronizing with the most powerful devil fruit ever discovered. According to this community member, the fruit Luffy consumed, originally believed to be the Gum Gum fruit, is no ordinary devil fruit. In their words, is the most powerful devil fruit in the world, or at the very least, a key that unlocks even greater potential. But here's where it gets wild. They suggest that Luffy's rubber body was pre-designed to match that fruit, and that the two were meant to bond from the start. However, the experiment failed or went off script, and Luffy ended up escaping, or was lost, from the government's control. And now, he's free, dangerous, and he doesn't even know it. So, what led this fan to such a conclusion? They point to several pieces of evidence drawn from Luffy's behavior and interactions. While other devil fruit users, like Buggy for example, struggle to fully control or adapt to their powers, Luffy seems to operate his abilities with natural instinct. He stretches, rebounds, and contorts his body in ways that seem too advanced, even biologically impossible for someone who just stumbled upon a devil fruit. Luffy's grandfather, Marine Vice Admiral Garp, seems to have an unusual interest in monitoring Luffy's development. This theorist suggests that Garp may know exactly what Luffy is, and rather than destroy him, he wants to see what he becomes. The fan even quoted Garp's iconic line, "I want to see what kind of man he'll become." They propose that Garp might be waiting to see whether Luffy's true nature will emerge. The theory goes further, proposing that Shanks didn't accidentally lose the devil fruit to Luffy. What if Shanks stole it from the world government, planning to hide or destroy it, and Luffy, the designed host, consumed it by fate? The fruit returned to its intended vessel, sinking with him instantly. The fan continued to build their case by analyzing Luffy's emotional responses. Luffy doesn't understand normal human boundaries. He laughs at danger. He talks to villains like they're friends. He shows no fear or hatred, even in life or death situations. He reacts to trauma with joy and lightheartedness. That's not just immaturity. That's someone running on a different emotional operating system. They describe Luffy as emotionally disconnected in a way that feels almost inhuman. Not in a cold or heartless way, but in a way that feels too pure, too untethered from normal reactions. That's when they drop the final piece. Luffy's not just different because he's goofy. He's different because he wasn't made to be like us. He was made for something bigger. And the fact that he's unaware of his origins makes him even more dangerous. So, what happens next? This theorist believes that Season 2 of the live-action adaptation might start to peel back the layers, subtly hinting that Luffy is not what he seems. Perhaps there will be moments of foreshadowing. Maybe someone from the government will hint at secrets long buried. Or maybe Garp's cryptic comments will start to sound a little more suspicious. Honestly, as wild as this theory sounds, it's almost weirdly compelling. There's something fascinating about the idea that Luffy's optimism and joy could mask a mysterious, hidden origin. And in a world like One Piece, where government conspiracies, hidden powers, and ancient weapons are all canon, this kind of theory doesn't feel as impossible as it sounds. Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.